I'm Trista Engel, CEO of Paragon Legal, and welcome to GC Sidebar, a short and sharp conversation series with today's most forward-thinking general counsel. In just 4 questions, we cover the legal industry, leadership, careers, and a little fun. Today, I'm joined by Jennifer Miller, General Counsel and Corporate Secretary at Grammarly, the AI-powered writing and productivity assistant trusted by probably many of you watching, along with over 40 million others worldwide. Jennifer began her legal career at Morgan Lewis before moving in-house to companies including Cisco, HP, and Gigamon. She stepped into her first general counsel role in 2018 at Loon, an Alphabet moonshot company, and then Starship Technologies before joining Grammarly as GC in 2023. She's gone from tech hardware to driverless bots to balloon-powered internet to generative AI, and I know she's got some great stories to tell. Jennifer, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me to join you.
Let's jump in. What is the one biggest change in the last 5 to 10 years that has impacted the legal department the most?
Oh, I think given where I am right now, the one biggest change in the last 5 to 10 years that's impossible to ignore would have to be AI and the maturation of machine learning generally. It's part of the reason why I decided to go to Grammarly as general counsel. And we really feel like that AI is a productivity augmentation that helps people be so much more effective and efficient. And I think it has taken the legal department by storm in so many ways, both good and bad. Grammarly and other tools like Grammarly and Coda help people become more productive. And I actually think those augmentation tools are what legal departments can bring on to really be much more helpful to the team. But it's hard because some of these tools otherwise are not people replacement ready, if you will. And that leads to a really uncomfortable tension where you have to do more with less, but some of these tools lead to errors, which can take on too much risk for a business.
Yeah, that's such a great point, and so interesting for you to be inside a company that's really doing that augmentation for others and leading the way, being on the forefront in legal as well as in AI. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned as a GC?
Such a great question. I've been general counsel now at a couple of different companies, and I think it's clear to me that the most valuable lesson is that to be effective, the general counsel, he or she, and the team as a whole must be a really strategic thinker about the business. And I always say that I view myself as a business executive with a legal lens. And if you're not putting the business first and the general counsel and the legal team isn't looking ahead at how a company grows its revenue, avoids problem, mitigates risk, the business team will just stop including legal, and then the legal team is left out of the important decisions.
I fully agree with that and love putting the business hat on first with a legal lens. That's great.
That's right. And I recognize not every general counsel role is a strategic GC role. Some are more transactional, and that's totally okay. However, I think as general counsels take a more prominent role in their company, they must be really strategic.
What's the best career advice you've received or given?
So I think I have 2 things that I would love to talk about. First, I was on a panel once and someone asked us this question. They asked us, how do you know when it's time to leave your role? The key test is that a person should always be, I say, either learning or earning. And assuming one of those is true, it's a good place to be. And if it ceases to be true, I think that is when it is time to seriously think about moving on to the next challenge. And what's so interesting is I was at a dinner earlier this week, and the woman sitting next to me, I hadn't met her before, but she had heard that panel where we had talked about how do you know when it's time to leave. And she said to me that she actually heard my statement of you should be learning or earning in her head, and it caused her to choose to leave her role and get a new job. And she was really happy, and she thanked me for that. And I thought, wow, actually, okay, I guess that was really impactful.
Yeah, you rarely get that kind of feedback on your advice.
I know, exactly. I know. So that question to me I thought was so timely. And then the second piece of feedback is, or guidance that I give people is something that has just come from my own journey as a lawyer, as I've gone from being at law firms to in-house and then becoming more senior and now general counsel. It's that everything is a season in life and that it's perfectly appropriate to make decisions based on that season of life. And people often feel like whatever decision they are facing in the moment is something that's going to have to be true forever. And I just don't believe that's true. So long as the narrative explains why you made your choice, you can always pivot later. And you have to give yourself grace for that and recognize that the decisions that you make now might not be the same decisions that you'll make later. And that's okay.
I love that. That's great advice. Giving yourself grace to make the decisions that feel right to you in the moment and not have the fear that it's derailing everything ahead of you.
Right.
Because in fact, it's probably getting you to the right place.
If you weren't an attorney, what would you be?
Oh, if I were not an attorney, I would own a farm and I would have a sanctuary for animals of all kinds, in particular dogs and cats. We have a standard poodle at home, and I would love to just adopt all the dogs all the time and take care of them. So yes, I would run an animal sanctuary.
Well, maybe that's in your future, Jennifer.
We'll see.
All right, bonus question. Who is your favorite fictional lawyer?
Oh, it's silly, but I grew up watching LA Law, so I'm not sure that I have one especially, but that's what made me realize that I wanted to be a lawyer.
Well, that was really fun, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and sharing your journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, that's a wrap on today's episode of GC Sidebar. Catch more great conversations on our website at paragonlegal.com. Thanks for tuning in.